Get ready to roll with the mob as we dive deep into the world of Johnny Sack from The Sopranos. From his towering presence to his heavyweight jokes, Johnny is more than just a mobster. He's a character you can't refuse to love. Join us as we unpack the humor, the drama, and a 90-pound mole in this Sopranos exploration. After Junior crowned himself the head honcho of the DeMeo family, he started throwing his weight around like a bull in a china shop. First on his hit list was Hesh's loan sharking gig, and he slapped a cool 500,000 grand tax on it. Tony, always the smooth talker, decided to pull some strings and get Johnny Sack involved. So, they meet up at a fancy Manhattan restaurant where Johnny is celebrating his anniversary with his better half. Tony spills the beans, trying to make it look like Hesh went to Johnny for help, all while making sure Junior doesn't feel like a chopped liver. Johnny, ever the player, agrees to help. Later, they have a sit-down with Junior outside Satriale's. Johnny strokes Junior's ego like he's a prized racehorse, but eventually drops the bomb that someone's got to fill in for Hesh since he's got connections in the Big Apple. Tony plays the offended card, pretending Hesh aired their dirty laundry, but Johnny smooth talks them into a solution. After some haggling, they settle on $250,000, and Junior's new boss status gets a party thrown in its honor, with Johnny Sack leading the cheers. Fast forward to the federal heat coming down on the North Jersey crew. Tony, always the strategist, decides to stash all his shady goods at his mother's place in Green Grove Retirement Home. He figures the feds won't bother searching a retirement home, especially one with seniors who can't remember what they had for breakfast. Tony's not alone in this genius plan. He ropes in other capos like Larry, Jimmy, and Raymond to do the same. They turn Green Grove into the unofficial mob headquarters, holding their secret meetings right under Junior's nose. But Livia, the master manipulator, spills the beans to Junior during a visit, making it sound like Tony's playing him like a fiddle. When the feds finally drop the hammer and arrest Junior and his crew, they offer him a sweet deal. Rat out Tony as the real boss, spill the beans about his New York connections through Johnny Sack, and all charges magically disappear. But Junior, old school to the core, flips them the bird. No way he's breaking the code, even if it means doing time in the can. Picture this. Johnny Sack, the boss with a taste for fine dining and an even finer temper, sitting down with Tony, Paulie, Silvio, and Pussy at a New Jersey restaurant. Dr. Melfi and her friends walk in, and Paulie, ever the ladies' man, starts flirting with them. Melfi, in her own way, catches Tony's attention, and Johnny suggests they join the table. Tony's having none of it, though. Maybe he's not a fan of therapy on the menu. Later, at Vesuvio, Johnny congratulates Paulie on his promotion, and they introduce Furio to the mix. Paulie tries to shoo Pussy away for some pressing business, and Johnny smirks. Must be hard being left out when important mob matters are on the table. Johnny's the man with the plan for peace among the families, but let's not forget his darker side, Machiavellian tendencies and a knack for eliminating rivals. Johnny's got a soft spot, though, especially when it comes to comments about his wife Ginny's weight. He once ordered a hit on Ralph for a fat joke, and Carmine Sr. saved Ralph's life by not approving it. Johnny's got a knack for making friends like his pal Paulie Walnuts. Paulie becomes the unwitting informant, thanks to Johnny's little white lies about Carmine's high regard for him. But when Paulie realizes it's all a sham, Johnny's in for some serious detracting. During his time as underboss, Johnny's not thrilled with Carmine's leadership and plans to name his son Carmine Jr. as the successor. Things get heated, and Johnny even authorizes a hit on Carmine. But Tony, always the peacemaker, settles the score without bloodshed, much to Johnny's dismay. Imagine the emotional roller coaster Johnny's on. He went from future boss to mobster scorned in a minute. Fortunately for Johnny, Carmine Sr. suddenly dies from an excess of protein in his bloodstream. Carmine's death kicks off a family war, and Johnny's crew battles it out with Brainless II. After some heavy casualties, a surrender, and a reconciliation with Tony, Johnny's back in control. Well, until the feds come knocking. Johnny gets arrested, but he's not ready to relinquish power just yet. In a twist worthy of a Soprano plotline, Jimmy Patrill turned out to be a bigger rat than a New Jersey sewer. All Due Respect spilled the beans on his double-dealing ways, revealing that he spilled the cannoli on Johnny's criminal escapades dating back to 1981. In prison, Johnny trusts Phil Leotardo to act as the acting boss. His brother-in-law becomes the go-between, and Johnny becomes more self-centered. He's all about maintaining good relationships and avoiding business disputes, even if it means setting boundaries. But Johnny's not one to let prison walls stop him. He gets a release for his daughter's wedding, but the joy is short-lived. The marshals drag him away, and Johnny's crew questions his strength. Tony, however, stands up for him, proving that when it comes to daughters, all bets are off. In the end, Johnny's efforts to maintain control fail. Facing a massive asset seizure, he pleads guilty, effectively ending his reign as boss. His allocation angers both the Soprano and the Lupertazzi families, making him persona non grata. And just when you think Johnny's out of the picture, cancer enters stage left. In 2007, news spreads about Johnny's passing, and the Soprano crew salutes him. A portrait of Johnny joins the Mobster Hall of Fame on the wall next to Carmine and Billy Leotardo, commemorating the man who once called the shots. In a world where loyalty is as rare as a dieting mobster, Johnny Sack stood out as the exception. Rumor had it that he was the Tony Bennett of the Mafia, singing only to his wife. A monogamous mafioso. Now that's a rarer sight than Big Pussy's survival instincts. Behind the wheel of his Mercedes-Benz, Johnny cruised through the Garden State, proving that you can be in the mob and still have a taste for the finer things. Later, he upgraded to a Maserati, because let's face it, even mobsters need a midlife crisis. Dressed to impress, Johnny had a style sharper than Paulie Walnuts' razor blade collection. His calm demeanor and classy attire made him the underboss with the mostest. And of course, no scene was complete without Johnny puffing on a Marlboro, because nothing says I'm in the mob like a cloud of smoke. But make no mistake, wise guys, smoking kills, and Johnny's fate ultimately proves it. When it came to business, Johnny was the master of enigmatic deliberation. But cross him on matters of honor, especially his wife's, and you'd be wishing you were in witness protection. Just ask Ralph Cifaretto, who learned the hard way that joking about Ginny's weight could have you talking to the fishes. Johnny's loyalty was as flexible as a yoga instructor in a witness protection program. Whether he was subtly pulling strings or convincing Carmine to reconsider violent solutions, Johnny knew how to play the game. He was the voice of moderation in family disputes, like a mobster therapist with a penchant for Marlboros. But when Carmine kicked the cannoli bucket, Johnny's cool demeanor took a vacation. In a power struggle with Carmine Jr., Johnny went from being the godfather of Zen to ordering hits like he was at a mobster clearance sale. Despite facing financial ruin and a one-way ticket back to the joint, Johnny showed that family comes first. He wept at his daughter's wedding, proving that even the toughest mobster has a soft spot. Sure, he lost some respect and dignity, but in the end, Johnny Sack was a made man with a big heart. Just don't make fat jokes about his wife. That's a one-way ticket to a concrete pair of shoes. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to Vano VHS and hit the like button. And if you want to show some love to Vano VHS, you can now buy us a coffee. Check out the link on your screens.